It's a pleasure to welcome Tal Catran from Israel, accelerator guru, speaker, builder of ecosystems, a person who has traveled in the previous 10 years all around the globe, bringing startups to, helping startups to launch products. For the first time, he's in Macedonia. Yesterday, you had like a sold-out event where you spoke in front of the Macedonian startup scene. Can you briefly tell us a couple of points you shared with the Macedonian startup?
First of all, I'm very glad to be here. It's a great opportunity. As you said, it's my first visit, and it sounds like I'm really a multi-talent guy where I go all over the place, and I'm trying really to help startups, but also, of course, build up ecosystems. My best, I think, impression was that, not surprisingly, there is a lot of capability and there is a lot of motivation in the young people I've met here to really do something with their ideas. It's like it always starts with someone who has an idea, then it needs to build into a technology and continue on from there. And my impression again was that people have this motivation, but they lack the tools. They lack the help, the guidance. They need a bit of a hand-holding. In a way, they need a push, a kick in the ass, if I can say, to push it forward and to really guide them towards A, building a business, raising the funds they need to develop their technology. And I think from then on, they can continue by themselves.
You're a mentor in the pre-acceleration program of Civus Incubator. That's the main reason why you're here. You're working as a pitching mentor or a mentor who is teaching startups how to present their ideas in front of investors. Can you tell us what's your opinion of the startups in the pre-acceleration program of Civus?
Well, the startups I've met generally were some into software and applications and some into hardware. I saw interesting technologies and apps, but still it was not in a big scale, okay? And it was a bit, I would say, early stage. So they have an idea, they have the capability to develop it into a working, as we call it, an MVP, a minimal viable product, a prototype. And I think that it also can appeal to a large market, I would say. It's still, in my opinion, early stage.
You have traveled all around the world, as I said, and you have seen a lot of startup ecosystems. In most of them, like we talked briefly before, you have seen that early stage startups are missing the finances. How have other countries solved this issue?
Yeah, so first of all, that's an issue globally. Raising funds is not easy. Not to say very difficult, especially for early stage. Early stage, the technology is still unstable. It's a small business, probably don't have customers at this stage, maybe early adopters. Still needs money. And what I see that investors are quite reluctant. They're scared about investing in such an early stage. In my opinion, and what I see in other countries, is that this is the role of the government. For a government to come into this gap of early stage to working prototype, let's say, in a stable technology towards an investor, for a government to, let's say, invest, let's say, 100 million euros is not a big issue when they understand that the fact that they help and assist the local ecosystem is not just in giving the money to the startup, because a startup is a growth engine within every economy. It produces employment places. It gives work not for the startup itself, but for all the freelancers, all the tiers around it, all the marketing, lawyers, accountants, developers, programmers, designers. It's a big ecosystem. This money helps, first of all, the startup to establish their technology with the help of the ecosystem. And really, again, it is my personal experience seeing around, is that this is the role of the government. You need to step up and take its part.
You have opened 7 accelerators, am I right?
9.
9? Yeah. India, Israel, Nordic countries. Are you seeing accelerators and incubators as a focal point where startups are making it big, or are they just a tool for VCs to find the next big thing?
I think that an incubator, an accelerator, of course, first of all, give a lot of practical tools to the startup. It gives it an ecosystem to sit within and, share ideas, share workers, barter, as we say. I have a programmer, you have a designer, let's swap. But also, a good incubator has a very good networking. They have a great bunch of mentors that it can offer. So generally, an acceleration program would be like the big brother of any startup that comes in. I think that it's something that every startup should consider, joining a program. Now, the program you can choose. There are programs according to clusters of technology, not for everything and everyone. Get on board, but take it seriously. Look at it as your job to be in such a program, but to work while you're there, to learn, okay, to network, to meet people. Take it seriously and build yourself.
Thank you, Tal. It was quite a hassle to bring you here, but it's worth it, I guess. After Macedonia, you're flying to Uzbekistan. Is my last question, how is the startup scene there? What are you expecting?
Actually, I have no idea. I would imagine the ecosystem is still in a beginning stage. I will continue on then to South Tyrol in Italy, and then to Romania, and then to Kiev, Ukraine, and then to Austria, to Innsbruck. It's like a long road show for me. What I know is one thing for sure. People are people. People are all the same. Ecosystems, in a way, are the same, maybe more advanced, less advanced. But in the end, it's about people. People who come up with the ideas, people who develop technology, people who raise the money, and people who invest in the startups. I also would like to take this opportunity to thank Civus Incubator for inviting me. I would like to thank the Israeli ambassador, Mr. Dan Orian, for making this trip possible, and of course to Swiss EP that also helped with the financing. I want to thank you all for having me, and for sure this was, as you said, my first visit. I hope for the next one already. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Tal.